Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, wherever you're listening. Joined with me as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
How you doing, everybody?
And Mr. Joe Whittaker.
You're right, Tom, yeah.
Oh, I've only had a few seconds to think this up and I failed miserably. It's Jamie Page.
You all right?
This week we are also joined with 3 fantastic guests. We've got Chad from Mancrafting. How you doing, Chad?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I'm going to talk to you in a little while about your mugs as well, sir. So hang in there, please. Gerald, the Redsmith. How you getting on?
What's on?
And also Mr. Jason McGinn from McGinn's Woodshop. How you getting on, Jace?
Hello.
Good stuff. Oh, we can see you now.
Yes.
That's right. 20 years in IT training, and here he is. Good to have you all with us. I'll be right back with you in just a second. Obviously, we always thank our listeners and our guests, those in particular, those that comment on our YouTube release. So everyone that does that, thanks very much. And also to everyone on social media who's been getting in touch, etc., etc. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the wood turners abrasive paste. For more information, visit yorkshiregrit.com. And also, he's actually with us tonight, our very good friend Chad from Mancrafting, who's still giving away his awesome mugs. And Chad, where can people find you?
They can find me at mancraftingtm.com, mancrafting on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
Excellent. And if you didn't catch any of that, obviously you can go to our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. So, Chris, do we have a random listener question from the last episode?
Yes, we do. And actually, I believe Joe has one that he posted earlier too. So I'll tell you what. I'll ask mine. Then Joe, you can ask yours. How's that? Does that work?
I've got a ton of them.
Oh well, then Joe has. Then we have several, Richard. So we're gonna be able to fill this time very well.
Excellent.
My first question is to everybody here today, and I'm not even going to answer this because I'll let you guys go. The question was, what is your favorite project that you personally did this year? And the second part to that is, if you can briefly remember one off the top of your head, what's the favorite project that you saw somebody else do this year? And that's going to be the toughest one, I think. But I'll let whoever wants to go first go first. Who wants to go?
I think our guest should go first. So, Jason, I can see you on the screen. So, do you want to dive in there first?
My favorite easily is Carl Jacobson's sink and countertop. Blew my mind.
Yeah. What about yourself? What project did you do that was your favorite?
The one I'm most happy about is crib boards that I've been making lately. Yeah,
they look awesome. I've seen those on Instagram. They look really cool.
Yeah, I made 14 now for Christmas gifts.
Wow.
So I'm getting tired of making them a little bit. I can't wait to start selling them.
Hopefully they sell.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Good stuff. And anyone else?
I'm actually gonna go next. One of the things that I did with a lot of help from Chad was I actually did this in Chad's shop.
Oh, cool.
And we done the laser, and I done the powder coating myself, and obviously with Chad's assistance. But there's actually the good story about it is never do lasering with a GoPro inside the laser.
Is that why it's not quite all the way through?
Yeah,
so what happened there then?
The string swung in front of the laser line.
Oh,
and
the strap to the GoPro got cut in half, and when it was cutting the strap, it stopped lasering the cup.
Awesome.
So when it actually came out, Chad was like really upset about it, and he was like, "Oh, let's do it again." And I was like, "No, leave it. It's a story behind it."
Yeah.
I've actually still got the bit of string as well. So,
and the best part is it didn't even break the laser.
Yeah. or our eyes.
Unlike your lathe that he happened to destroy. But anyway, that's a different
all right.
Gerald, what about you? Gerald, you being a guest, I think probably should go next. Your favorite project you did this year, and if you can think of one that you really enjoyed watching by somebody else.
Yeah, my favorite one was the wooden plane I remade for my kid. It was 3 in March, and when he was 1, as a gift, I made him a big wooden plane. And I came back from Japan with it, and it was outside, so the paint was scaling, and it was time to remake it. So I modified it and repainted and added some features, and just the smile on his face when he saw it, it was totally was the work. So that was my favorite project this year. And yeah, favorite from other makers. There's a lot of projects I really liked, but one in particular was a series made by a guy named Chris. Don't know if you know him, but it was a series about making gifts for children, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
We don't mention that jerk around here, Gerald.
No, we do. We need to do that because you don't get enough credit for this one. It's Christmas time, and yeah, making toys for children is just an awesome idea. So yeah, I love
but
that.
The soundtrack to that video really did suck, though, if you don't mind me saying. I thought it was
It was terrible. That one in particular was awful.
Gerald, I'm humbled, and I thank you very much. That's very nice to say. But yeah.
I mean it. Yeah.
God bless you. Thank you. I think he's full of it, but now let's move on. Chad. Chad, what about you, man?
Well, obviously, as far as my own stuff, I've been doing a lot of cups, and when you get trapped into one particular product, it gets kind of old. So for me, my most favorite project was actually doing a hybrid blank, and I don't have the video out yet, but as soon as I turn it, I'll include that with the rest of the video on making this. And that was inspired a lot by one of the people in the chat right now, Heath, and I kind of used the colors that he used in one of his recent videos called Red Dawn Sphere. And that's probably one of my favorite videos this year. If you haven't watched it, it's mesmerizing. The actual the sphere itself. I mean, you just look at it. You could just stare at it for an hour, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool.
So that was my favorite.
Well, you know what? A jumping off point, because we just spoke with Chad and we have one of Chad's cups to give away. Richard, do you want to go ahead and do the trivia question now so that we can give the audience that's watching right now a chance to answer it?
I would love to do the trivia question, which obviously we talked about beforehand, to obviously give away one of Chad's cups. So we need to ask this question, which I'm desperately... That's right, yes. So the trivia question is, I wasn't just trying to desperately remember what the question was, honest. And hopefully I don't get this wrong. If I do get it wrong, then Joe, just we'll edit this bit out. So hopefully, well, you can. The question is, who was our first guest that Jamie asked boxers or briefs to? So if you're listening live, who was our first guest that Jamie asked boxers or briefs to? And if you get it right, is it the first person to get it right?
First person to get it right.
First person to get it right wins a Mancrafting mug. And these are, Chad, these are awesome mugs, mate. I love mine. It goes everywhere with me.
But I have to make a stipulation for the people that this is kind of a trick question. That's the best hint I can give you without actually giving it away. It's kind of a trick question. Then we'll just leave it at that. So, who's the first guest that we had on the podcast that Jamie actually asked boxes of briefs to? And if you can get the answer, you win one of those awesome mugs. And Chad, my mug, it looks friggin' phenomenal. But I've never used it because as soon as it arrived, my wife stole it. Oh. I have not had a chance to use that thing since. So, and getting things back from the wife after she says mine is not happening. But thank you.
That's higher than a 5-star review.
Yeah, that's the umpteenth
We
caller.
have
So
a winner.
We got a winner.
yeah, we got a winner.
Already, we always get like a. Can we ask
how do we have a
about-
winner? Who
Shogun
do we have?
Jimmy.
Shogun
He said Jason McGinn.
Jason McGinn is actually the first guest we ever had on that Jamie asked the question, boxes of briefs to.
I
We-
would have got the answer
we did
wrong.
we did have people say Joe, and we had people say Nicola Butcher. Joe is not a
Okay.
guest.
Well, let me explain something. First of all, Jamie did not ask Nicola Butcher. I was the one who asked Nicola Butcher that. And then Jamie took it from there. The second time that question was asked was by Jamie, but he asked it of Joe, and Joe wasn't a guest. Joe's part of the podcast. So the third person that question was asked to was actually our first guest that Jamie answered it to, and that was Jason McGinn. So hope that explains it.
We tried
So
to-
that's why I said it was a trick question, but Shogun Jimmy got it. I tell you what Jimmy did is he opened up another window, went back to our YouTube channel, and looked down all the way at the very bottom of our videos and went, "Okay, Jason McGinn." And you know what? Props to you for thinking.
Sears Woodworking says, I thought the answer was 17.
So, no, it was 673, and you're about 2 weeks too late, I'm afraid.
All right. So, hey, congratulations, Shogun Jimmy. But let's move on. Joe, your favorite project that you've done this year, and if you can think of one, your favorite project that you've seen somebody else do.
Well, as far as my favourite project that I've made, I'd go back to the cylinder plywood table that I made for the charity auction. Reason I picked that one out in particular was it was like from the ground up an idea that I've had for quite a long while to do a curved project in that way rather than bending the wood to actually cut the shape and just stack it. And I was really pleased with how it turned out, and it's something I'd like to explore more. So that's kind of why that's been my favourite one this year. As far as favourite project from somebody else, it's kind of more what it represents as well. It's Al's Hack Shack, very first video where he makes his Hack Shack. It's a fantastic video, but more importantly, it introduces him to the community. It's the start of his channel, and I can see really big things coming from him. So that was like my most enjoyable video from another creator. Obviously, there's tons we can all choose from, but that's one that stands out to me, and it's just been great to follow him along in his journey in just these short few months, how far he's come. It's brilliant.
He does innovative stuff and makes it a lot of fun.
It really does.
I really enjoy watching his stuff.
Jamie and I have a little inside knowledge on something. I don't know. Chris might. There's a video coming out Thursday with Al.
Mm-hmm.
It's over the top. So check out Makers Wanted on Thursday, the Christmas release.
And that is on Waylight Creations channel. So if you're not subscribed to Waylight Creations, subscribe to Waylight Creations, and the Makers One will be out later. When does he release that, Chad?
On Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Okay, so there you go.
So that's, if you're listening to this in the audio version, that's tomorrow morning. After.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this next week or whatever.
it just gets very confusing, doesn't it? We struggle with all that.
What is the date today?
Well, no. Well, hold on. If you're listening to this now on iTunes or SoundCloud, or even watching the YouTube video that's been produced, it was actually a video that was released last week. So
it's already ready.
Yeah,
we can't work out dates. It's just like, yeah, go find it. You'll find it. It'll be there.
Richard, I'm almost afraid to ask you.
What
was your favorite project, and what was the favorite thing that you saw somebody else do? And the second part is going to be hard for you, I know, but go ahead and give us yours anyway.
I was originally going to say a project that I did last year, and then I realised that it was actually doesn't count, so I can't have that one. So the thing that I've made this year, my favourite, I think, is a model railway baseboard layout in a guy's loft. It's a pretty simple. It's not an extravagant project, but it was a lot of fun, and it was something that had a lot of challenges, and it was quite interesting to do that. So that's my personal favourite that I've made. Other people's project, I'm thinking my mug. I love that Chad made, because it is awesome. The wallet that Gerald did, the Makers International wallet. that Joe did, and my new glass that Joe did. I mean, they mean so much more than just the item, the physical item it is. And I think the reason they mean so much to me personally is that there seems to be a very strong following for the podcast that we all make, and it's kind of in various guises inspired other people to make various things, and I think that's a very humbling thing for me, that other people take inspiration from that. This might sound a bit soppy, but that's
no, I think that, because when you said this is our podcast, you're entirely right. Because this, I mean, we have, and we will never get to have everybody in the community on with us. There are just too many people. But this podcast has always been about making, no matter where you are, whether it's, and we call it Makers International simply because the basis of the 5 guys that are normally here together, because we're in 3 different countries, blah, 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 and down the line. But we've always tried to incorporate other people from other parts of the area. Gerald from France. We've had Dirk Gibbons on from Australia. We've had my buddy from New Zealand on with us. I mean, this is the communities. I would love to have people think of that as this is a communities podcast where anybody, no matter where you are, there's, it doesn't, no matter how big you are, because we had our very first guest on this podcast was Nicola Butcher.
Yeah, and she wasn't even on YouTube.
She doesn't even have a YouTube channel. She was just a very interesting lady who had a great story to tell and who's accomplished a lot at a very early age that we wanted to have on, because we just thought it was important people to know her and know that story. So that's what that is about. So no, Richard, right in the feels, buddy. You hit me. I almost shed a tear.
And of course, that's not a favorite project that I've done, because it's not about me, it's about everybody, like you exactly just said. So yeah, what about you then? I'm quite interested in what your because you've done some cool projects this year.
I honestly don't have, if you'd asked me this last year, I would have had an answer for you, because the most fun I had doing a video in 2016. And I'm not talking about great project. I'm just saying I had a lot of fun in 2016 doing a collaboration with Jason McGinn and Matt Brander when we did the Pat Lap Challenge, and the 3 of us on a hangout working on making our own beer mugs. I mean, it just let your imagination go.
Yeah, I remember that, the Flat Pat Challenge.
I had a great time working on that video and doing that project with those guys. That was just a ton of fun. This year, I would have to say the most fun I had making my own project was probably making that train that I made for a kid for Christmas, because I never made a toy train before, and I just had a lot of fun doing that, because it brought me back to my own childhood about how I always wanted one of those and never had one. And so when I made one, it was kind of like making it for myself. I was like, yeah, I got to play with it. But then I gave it away. So I guess if I had one, that would be it. But as far as makers that I have seen, and Richard, like you, I'm a sappy cuss when it comes to this kind of stuff, because I mean, when things mean something, have a meaning to them as well as being awesome, they always strike me as something that I will remember, because it hits me in the heart and not only in the mind. And he's gonna blush, but I'm my favorite video series that was done this year was done by our very own Joe Whitaker, when he did the collaboration for the Children's Hospital. I mean, I just thought that was awesome.
And just to add to that, just the fact that they were all linked as well with that little red balloon. Somehow they were all meshed together.
Well, maybe it's because I know the story and I know how that came to be, and I know why you did what you did. It's just it meant a lot, Joe. And I just want to let you know. I mean, and all the projects were freaking brilliant, by the way, too. That river table is still blows me away to this day. So I just wanted to make that's what I would consider memorable. But there's so many out there that it's impossible to choose just one. But if you hit me today and ask me, that's my answer. I mean, because Joe, I really liked that series. I really did, man. Yeah, I thought you killed it.
Cheers, mate. There should be getting sorted really soon for the setting up the auctions themselves. I've been asked for some more details. I'll write up some descriptions for them, get some different pictures taken for the actual auctions and stuff. But luckily, the Children's Hospital is being involved with the auction itself. So rather than just us auctioning it off and then handing them a check, they're going to be like running side by side. So all the talks are going on at the minute to try and sort it out, but hopefully it'll be soon. So I can't wait to just see how well they do. Hopefully they do well.
I hope they do too. I hope they do. But regardless of how well they did, it was well intended and well executed. So good for you, man. I mean, that will be something I will remember.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more with all the comments that came out of that one. So, and also it's kind of a good lead on that. Genuinely was a random listener question, and I can't remember who was it. That was it. Andy
Pugh.
Andy Pugh asked that one. Yeah. So, well, cheers for that question, Andy. But Joe, you had some other ones as well, didn't you? I believe.
Yeah, we've had quite a few. But there's a couple that kind of link together. We got one from Bear, which is what skill do you want to learn or learn to do better in 2018? But that links with a question from Wave Cycles, which is what's the new tool, new material, new skill you'll each endeavour to try out or learn in 2018? So like kind of a more broad area, but could get some interesting answers.
I'm interested to find out what Chad's answer to this is going to be, because after he mentioned about, obviously you're making the mugs, and is that sort of product line likely to evolve perhaps, or
fixed?
Yeah, so I'll keep doing the lasering, obviously. That's it's a great way to have a hobby that makes money. In addition to that, obviously the resin hybrid blanks, I want to get better at making these as well as turning them. So working on the lathe is something that I want to spend more time doing this year. In addition to that, I do have a CNC that I want to continue improving my skills on. And, that's not so much, the actual running of the CNC, but the programming side, the side that Jason is really good at.
I'd wondered if that wouldn't be along those lines, actually, to be honest. So, because what you do is awesome, fantastic. So, anyone else? I'm interested to hear what everyone wants to learn. I think we've all got something we want to learn at some point. So,
I definitely want to have a go at level work. I mean, when you see stuff that the Redsmith has put out, and I've watched someone on YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, Twitch, called Parkers and Quinn.
Yeah.
The stuff that she put out before, it's just incredible. So yeah, level work is definitely something I'd like to have a go at least.
I actually, I also looking into leather work. I asked for a little starter kit for Christmas, or
so.
Choose wisely. Your kit. I'm talking about your kit, because you have a lot of kits every year you can buy on the internet. Some are really good, quite cheap, and others are really expensive, and you will never use the leather which is in the kit. So no need for leather in those kits. Just buy the tool, buy leather, and try your stuff. A few months back, I won a kit from a famous brand. I don't know if I can say the name, starting by a T and ending by Andy Leather.
Just go ahead and say it.
And the tools are okay, but the leather is crappy. All the holes are misaligned, so you can't use that. So buy leather and buy tools, but don't buy a kit with leather inside.
Mm-hmm. Or just buy a cow.
Yeah, buy a cow. Go cow.
Get your meat and stitch it too.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. All right, I'm going to quickly change the subject to surprise a lot of people. You know what I would honestly like to learn how to do? I would like to step out of the 18th century and into the 20th century, and at some point in time next year, and I don't have plans for this, and I would like to learn how to operate a CNC, because I honestly do not have the computer knowledge that I know I need to have in order to do that. But I know, because I've seen you guys do it and gone through it, that it's not impossible, and it's not something I should be afraid of. It's just something I haven't dove into yet. And I know the quality of the things I could do would improve if I could incorporate a CNC into my work. And it's been on my mind for half a year. And at some point in time, I will probably pony up and buy a CNC and then spend the time to learn how to use it. It's just been the learning curve that has kind of held me off on doing it. But I've
One
got
thing-
good friends like Jason and, you know, everybody here that owns a CNC. I know that I can call upon and, hey, I'm stuck, help me out. And I know you guys would. So I'm not afraid of it. I just haven't done it. And so
I would
there
say
you go.
one way to approach a CNC before you even buy one would be to download something like Inkscape, which is a free program, and learn vector design.
Mhm.
That'll get you way ahead once you do start digging into using a CNC.
It's good advice. All right. And that doesn't cost me anything. So that's cool.
Start off by posting on Instagram first. Just
Jamie, one step at a time. Okay. One step at a time.
Fair enough. But you know, I think if you from that learning the CNC and going back to what Jason was saying about learning something like Inkscape, that's also very transferable because I'm sure, hopefully, Joe will kind of back me up here with the work that you've been doing with, and probably Chad as well, actually, because you use a vinyl cutter, or you were using a vinyl cutter at least. That they're very similar processes in terms of image to vector to machine. And am I right in saying that? So it's not just about learning the CNC. It's, you know, the output. I think people think that the CNC is the thing to learn when actually it's probably more the computer side, and then, you know, send that computer thing to a particular machine.
Well, there is a lot of learning aside from the computer, which are physical restraints like speed of the bit, the type of bit, and the depth of the cut per pass. Those types.
Yeah.
Of, you learn like one thing I've learned. I used to go for speed, and now I go for adding time. That'll make my final cut a lot cleaner and easier to not have to sand as much and not have to pick away at the little parts.
Yeah. So it's always bear in mind it's like a good life skill as well. Is always go for depth rather than speed.
Along the
Oh my.
And apparently, if you don't go quite so deep, you can actually go a lot faster.
There's a plus side.
Yeah.
There's a rainbow for everything, everybody.
That's all Chris is going to be able to think about now for the next hour. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologise in advance.
And once again, I can thank my buddy Joe. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I think it's time we go from chocolate Bach to old fizzy wink. Here we go.
That's going back to depth and speed again, isn't it? The old
it is.
fizzy winky.
I understand.
I'm not sure if it's getting deeper or faster, but it's getting.
Well, getting fizzy.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's look back on 2017. I think we've covered everybody. I mean, what if I can ask these questions? What do you guys what are you going to remember from 2017 as being one of your great? I posted something on Facebook today of a great time I had, and it had to do with going to DeResta's place and making that friggin' TP for Taylor Forrest on Jimmy's place, and the people that got involved with that. That was a good time. It was one of my top 10 times this past year. So, what about you guys? I mean, what kind of memories do you have of 2017? And if I could ask the follow-up question. What are you hoping to do, or what are you looking forward to in 2018? Since the New Year's is right around the corner.
Well, I broke Atlanta, quite literally.
Yeah, he did. At least one lathe in Atlanta that I'm aware of.
And a
And a
bridge.
GoPro.
And a
Oh, what? Sorry, Jamie?
and a bridge.
You broke a bridge.
Yeah, a bridge burnt down in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. That two-tier.
always-
I remember that. It hurt Jamie was coming and collapsed.
Yeah.
Not because Jamie was on it, presumably.
Concrete.
No,
there was fire under it, and basically, the heat was so hot that it basically turned itself into its own fuel.
oh, wow.
Just yeah.
Great story, Jamie. What's your favorite thing you did in 2017? What are you looking for?
Yeah, but the trip to Atlanta was just, or the USA, because obviously we didn't just stay in Atlanta, was just incredible, and I really can't thank Izzy and the Tool Masters enough. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I'll be forever in their debt for that.
I ditto that.
Yeah. Obviously, I got to meet Jason as well and Chris. But
I say the feeling's mutual.
What's to look forward to 2018? I'm going to try and do a bit more on my channel. I'm going to try and show people I'm more than just a scroll sawer and a turner, I guess is a better way of putting it.
He's
more than just a 2-hit wonder. So, we'll see.
I'll stop right there because Jamie, I know, and I know Richard knows, and I know Joe knows, but people only know you from the work that you put out on YouTube, and you do some amazing work that you haven't shown on YouTube yet. So you've got quite a lot of things that you could actually do and turn other people on to. It'll probably open up a lot of eyes because, I'll be honest with you, you've set the expectations really low, so it won't be hard to impress.
Yeah, a lot of people want me to hurry up and get that Queen done as well.
Yeah,
she certainly does. She's been punished long enough.
Yeah, keep on doing that, Queen.
Just think you won't be a newbie in 2018 anymore, neither.
Oh yeah.
No longer a newbie.
Officially, like veteran status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Brilliant.
Well,
I'll get my second gold star. Then I can start handing out the fries with the shakes.
Oh my God.
Gerald, have you got any good plans for your channel next year? Anything that you've been kind of thinking about, or something you're excited to try and do, or whether it be a build or a technique or anything?
Yeah. Well, obviously, 2017 has been a crazy year for me because in December 2016 I was at 30,000 subscribers, I guess, and now I just passed 20,000. So it's been a crazy year, and I got to meet a bunch of wonderful European makers in Hanover, Germany, when we all went for the Maker Fair last August.
Yeah,
it was really nice to meet all these guys and spend the weekend with them. But for 2018, I would like to spend more time in the forge and forging metal. I would like to try to make resin blanks and use them. You mentioned earlier red sphere, which when I saw that I just wanted to try it. But I explained earlier in another show how difficult it was to find good resin and how expensive it was around here.
Oh, it's not cheap here either. So
it's not cheap.
Yeah, no, it's not. So there is a lot of stuff I want to try. Spend more time in the forge, try resin, do more leather work, and the one thing I'm really looking forward to is the Maker Central, the meeting, and to meet all of you guys. At least the one who will be able to come and give a big Lutz style hug to every single one of you.
Oh man,
that's not
wait.
Yeah,
and that's not exaggeration, because if you ever meet Bill Lutz, you're getting hugged. I mean, I don't know what
I heard about that.
And probably kissed.
And maybe a few bun squeezes. I don't know, but Bill will forget it. If he sees you, he's hugging you. I hope you don't mind. So yeah,
I don't.
It's a good thing he's not in politics. He'd have lawsuits.
Hashtag me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the Maker Central. I mean, that's something I am immensely looking forward to, not just from the point of view of it. I think it's going to be a good show, but for me, it's meeting people. It's getting that opportunity to actually, face to face, finally meet Chris in the flesh, meet yourself, Gerald, meet yourself, Chad, and actually Joe as well. And I mean, Jamie, we've already met, so I'll probably try and avoid you. But the actual physical, being in the same place, but not just at the show. I think the the evening time, the out of show time, because there's going to be loads of conversations around, let's go back to the leather. Gerald, you can then say, no, don't go with this tool, get that tool, don't get this set, and to help people kind of get into particular areas that you wouldn't necessarily talk about via email or messaging or even in a hangout like this.
Richard, I don't want to interrupt you, but there's a perfect example of exactly what you're talking about, sitting in a room, and it's Jason McGinn when he met Carl Jacobson in Atlanta. You go ahead, Jason. You want to tell that?
Oh, well, you go ahead.
No, I don't want to tell your story. I mean,
You were there.
You actually told me about it because I wasn't even there. It's like it makes so much sense because Richard was just talking about how meeting people and getting advice, and you met Carl Jacobson in Atlanta, and he gave you advice.
That's the thing. I just walked up to him and asked him a little bit of insight, and he's like, "Oh, come on over." He's like getting right into all the tools, showing me. And I'm like, standing here like comparing the EasyWood tools for me and telling me the differences and what kinds of uses and different ways I can use the tool. And, so I was really like clearly able to lay out and weigh out what tool I wanted to pick. And of course, just the experience of kind of like, hey. But, actually just the line, that difference of actually interacting with someone in person as opposed to over video or through internet and stuff made a massive difference in how I perceive the community, how I want things to go with the community, and how I want to build in with the community. It's changed. It was a game changer for me, and I love it.
So would Atlanta be your highlight to 2017? Is that it? Would you say that was it, or did you have something else?
Oh, well, that or painting my entire house. Yeah, one of them.
with a 1/2-inch paintbrush.
Yeah. Okay, let's go with Atlanta.
It was a 3-inch paintbrush.
I still don't understand why you didn't spray that. I mean, surely it would have been better to spray it.
You never lived on the shore.
And you know what? Atlanta was a great time, and I actually got to meet Jason for the first time too. And Jason and I had known each other for probably almost 2 years before we actually met face to face, and that was absolutely awesome.
I still can't believe you cried when we met.
Do you still have that cup made by Carl Jacobson, Chris?
Yes, I do. Because yes, and Jamie brought a cup that Carl Jacobson had turned on his channel and gave it to me there. So yes, I do, Jamie, and that
potato.
Yes, and I've got my Chris Cute potato in my shop now, sitting on my bench. So yeah, Atlanta was a great time. All right, moving on. Joe, what about you or Chad or somebody who I haven't heard from yet? 2017. What do you remember?
Well, obviously, the woodworking show is going to have to be a highlight. I mean, I was fortunate enough to go to both maker fairs in Bay Area as well as New York, and got to meet a lot of other makers that I didn't get to meet at the woodworking show. So those 3 trips are definitely the highlight. The thing that I'm looking forward to, obviously, is getting to meet everybody in Maker Central. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to meet your mom and get a scarf, though.
What's that?
They're not going to be able to meet your mom and get a scarf, though. Or that was your mother.
Yeah. My mother-in-law.
Yeah, I've got a scarf.
Yeah.
Did you?
I still have it. It's in my winter keep warm pile.
There you go.
Surely you're using your winter keep warm pile in Canada in December.
Yes, it was a good minus. What was it today? Do we have minus 11? Whatever that is in Fahrenheit.
Minus 11.
Yeah, but since he painted his house, he doesn't use quite as much wood anymore because he's got more insulation on the outside.
From all the overspray.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, what about you, man?
Well, mine is travel based. I didn't get to go to the Atlanta show, but I did actually make it to the States this year. First time leaving the country. I spent some time with some really close friends, Shane and Tammy, in Kingman, Arizona. And we also ventured out to Vegas and went and saw the Grand Canyon and everything about it. It was life changing for me, really, being stuck as a Wolverhampton boy, born and bred, to now be standing at the foot of the Grand Canyon thinking, there is a whole lot of world out there that I can't even grasp. Like, so I'd love to do some more traveling, hopefully in 2018. I probably won't be able to make it that far afield, but who knows what the future brings. I definitely want to see some more of the UK. I'd like to go and meet some more makers, but definitely Makers Central is going to be my highlight of 2018. Like everyone said already, it's the meeting people. I'm sure Nick won't mind us saying about, like, the event will be good and everything like that, but it'll be the people that make it. So I just can't wait for it.
It's like that with any show. I don't even care if it's as well produced as a freaking Broadway show. What you're going to take away from that is all the people you met. I guarantee it. It's always about the people. It really is. Everything else is just a plus on the outside. And that's my personal feeling anyway, because I've been to 3 of these now, and each show is always cool. Great tools on display, cool stuff to look at. I mean, let's be honest, we are geeks. We do like to check out the tools and what's available and blah. That is cool, but it pales in comparison to the people you actually get to shake hands with. It really does.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm particularly looking forward to is actually seeing Jamie at Makers Central, because since the Atlanta show, he has been swerving and dodging and not replying to messages relating to, where are my stickers?
on the shelf downstairs.
Because Jamie went to Atlanta and was supposed to get stickers for Richard and Joe, and apparently Richard has.
I did.
Yeah, but Richard just
forgot to send them off with a shirt.
What was it? It was when you posted Chad's mugs over. I was like, oh, excellent, I'll finally get the stickers as well. And Jamie's reply was, oh no, I forgot. So he's I have to go to the post office again. And that was about, what, 2 months ago now, Jamie?
Right then.
That was like the end of May or beginning of April of this year. That Jamie, you're hopeless.
Yeah, I am.
But speaking of Jamie, you, Jamie, I know you have a special thing that you want to say today too about. You want to thank some folks about 2017 for a specific reason. So go for it.
Well, as we said on last week's show, or about an hour ago. I'm kind of like the social media guy, if you like. So on behalf of Joe, Richard, Alan, Chris, myself, I thought I'd go over some of the people that are following us. So over on Instagram, we've got 622 followers. Facebook page, we've got 694 likes. Our YouTube channel has reached 511 subscribers. Twitter has got 271 followers, and our Facebook group, Makers on YouTube, has got 1,054 members. So on behalf of all of us, thank you very much for your support. It really means a lot.
It is awesome, and I can't believe that many people want to regularly listen and follow and find out what we ramble on about most weeks. Most weeks I'm just rambling on.
I've only been listening for Chad's mugs, trying to win one, but
yeah.
I was going to say, Richard, they don't really listen for that. They listen because they look at us and go.
That's probably very true. It's still nice to be thought about, even if it is.
And then after they can breathe again, they go, and they're serious. No, okay.
You're gonna say hello.
But Jamie, that was very nice. That's awesome, and yeah, we do appreciate the support. I mean, we're not exactly blowing the planet up at this point in time, but we don't care. We're having fun. As long as absolutely. You guys are out there enjoying it, we're enjoying it too. So rock and roll. That's awesome.
Some of us come back every single week to do enjoy it.
You still haven't missed a show, have you?
Yeah.
No.
Jamie's going to push that perfect attendance thing until the teacher finally decides to give him an A.
Like 4 minutes on the phone in the car is full attendance.
He's like the guy at graduation.
For the show.
Yeah. Everybody's getting their caps and gowns and diplomas. You know, you're summa cum laude, you're blah blah blah. And Mr. Perfect Attendance goes to everybody looks at him and goes. In other words, here's the guy with no life, right there, right there.
Teacher's pet.
But the thing that amazes me, though, Jamie, and this, I'm deadly serious now, is you are without fail always here. You're busy doing other stuff. You're here every week, but you are everywhere else as well. You're on, live Twitch streams with Carl, and you're with Steve on his show, and you're doing your own channel, and you're everywhere. You're always in the groups on social media, and it's almost like you're the community because you're everywhere in the community. And
he's actually one of the co-hosts with Eloy on his show that he does.
Yeah, the Mad Maker show, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Which we need to talk about, because that's a pretty good contract. No, we had a non-compete going on, but no, it's all right. Never mind, it's okay.
Well, I've got perfect attendance, so it's my podcast.
Okay. Welcome to Jamie's podcast. Richard,
speaking of Eloy's the show, it was actually a couple of weeks ago, because you're listening to it now. If you go to Eloy's channel, you've now listened to the recorded show of Make It Sopha's on there. So,
awesome!
Yeah, she would have been on that on the 19th of December.
So she was recording that when we. Oh, I see. That's why she could be on.
That was a fantastic episode. That was.
It was brilliant. Yeah.
Yep, brilliant.
Richard, we've got about 10 minutes left, but before we go, I wanted to say I wanted to have a wish for 2018, and I want to wish this wish for a certain person. Okay, can I do that?
Yeah, sure.
My hope for 2018 is that YouTube finally gets their algorithm figured out, and that Gerald no longer has to bitch about having his videos demonetized. Because Gerald went off today, and I don't blame him. I would have been ticked off too, but I just, he's such a nice guy. I hate to see him get that mad. So YouTube, my hope is that sometime in 2018, you figure your crap out and quit, limiting the monetization on people's videos that are doing things. I mean, Gerald, if it helps you out, I put a video out titled "Apple Picking," where I basically went out and filmed myself picking apples, and it was demonetized, not suitable for most advertisers. So hopefully YouTube gets their shizzle together real soon, and Gerald doesn't have to go through that any longer. And
I did a little research on that title though, because I was curious as to why it would.
Yeah, it was because, and I didn't know, but Apple Picking apparently is slang for people that steal iPhones, and I did not know that. Okay, so that's being old school once again and not knowing the hip verbal gang language. What's up, dude? So
it'd be so much worse, though. I'm searching that on Urban Dictionary.
And Apple Picking.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with you there. I mean, not only they're makers and just YouTube content creators that are doing great things, good things, honest things, and getting setbacks like this. There are also a lot of less reputable, more scrupulous individuals abusing the YouTube setup that are continuing through that. So to add to what you just said, Chris, absolutely. But I hope they also take that even further and help people who are doing YouTube honestly and defend them against the more scrupulous individual. And I think that is, if I'm not mistaken, partly to do with our topic for the first topic of 2018. So that's a good lead on for next year's show.
You'll look into that for next week, absolutely.
Yeah. So we have 10 minutes left. I mean, I'm always busy. I'm kind of glad that I have had some time off between Christmas and New Year to just do stuff. I haven't got a shout out this week. Has anyone got a shout out, something they want to highlight, or an individual they want to highlight to the community?
I'm going to highlight an individual. someone that needs to be recognised throughout the year, and it's got to be Bobby Duke.
Yeah.
That man has just escalated like no one's business. It weren't that long ago he just done 100,000 subscribers, and he just brought out that cup standing on a pencil carving.
I love that. I just watched that today.
Wow.
Yeah. Pencil crayons all epoxy together to look like it's pouring out of the cup, and it's up.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
And he's just passed 200,000 subscribers.
Awesome. Good for him.
Incredible.
Well deserved too. Too.
Incredible talent.
There are some absolutely insanely talented people on YouTube and maker-wise, but that I am an absolute awe of, and amazement that they managed to find the time to put these videos out. So definitely.
Yeah.
All right, you know who I want to give a shout out to, just because of all the work that he's put into it, and the way that all of us are looking forward to it, is Nick Simetti from NZ, because he's one of the gentlemen who's putting together Maker Central, and we're all looking forward to it, and that has got to be a bear of an event to put together, but it's all coming together, and it looks like it's going to be a fabulous time. So 2018, Nick, I look forward to seeing you once again. I met him in Atlanta. I look forward to meeting you again and shaking your hand, because well done. I mean, well done, man.
MakerCentral.co.uk.
Not to be confused with.
Not to be confused with MakersInternationalPodcast.com.
Pretty much ensures you'll be confused. Gerald, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, the other day I had a challenging night when the kid was sick, and I was not allowed to go to the ER, so I had to wait in the car. And the kid is okay; he is recovering now, and that's perfectly fine. But when I was outside, it was very cold. I was worried, and basically went crazy, not knowing what was going on. And the one thing that kept my head clear was all the podcast I usually listen to when I'm working. And Makers International, maybe I said too much, Full With Tools, Reclaim Audio, Making It, and a lot more. All these people who are taking time to make this podcast, to entertain us, to educate us, and make awesome shows. That night especially, it helped me a lot. So that's my shout out. That's the people I want to plug in and just thank them, because I needed it that night, and I basically need it every day when I'm working. I'm always listening to a podcast. So that's it.
Good stuff. Well, I'm glad the nip is okay and on the mend, etc. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Right in the fields there, Gerald. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Chad, have you got anything exciting? Anyone you want to plug, or something you want to tell us about? That's a question. I'm not leading you anywhere.
I think if I was going to plug somebody, I want to plug Steve Harnell. He's kind of the center of Harnell Media, the Makers Media Network, and a lot of us here benefit from his computer expertise. I'm not a website person, and having somebody that's been willing to work with me on that has been fantastic. So Steve Harnell.
Good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, we'll Jamie, if I'm not mistaken, I think Steve's details, because he squared away our website and everything, didn't he? So all those kind of details and stuff will be available. Jason, do you have anyone you want to plug?
Actually, instead of a plug, I'll tell you a heartfelt story.
Let me just get comfy, because I'm being sarcastic now, but go ahead.
No, it has a good spirit to it, and it's kind of blew my mind. I used that too many times today, but anyway, my uncle, I've always looked up to him. He does fine woodworking, like curved dovetail joinery and just crazy awesome. He's always been an inspiration, and for him, it's been his father who's been an inspiration that inspired him to do woodworking, who has passed. And anyway, his sister, we have a McGinn's breakfast every year, and I was just there this week. And his sister found on Kijiji, which is like Craigslist or like online, used places.
Yeah.
someone's selling this carved man who's like on a log. He's a logger down the river kind of thing, right? That idea. Well, anyway, it's one of those, and on the back it's carved in. It's his father who made it. They found it on this. Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
No way.
And so they bought it, of course, and gave it to him, and they're just amazing that just like that coincidence that it happened, that they found it first, that they saw it, and that somebody had it and put it online, and like.
Wow.
And now his son has it. That's awesome.
Yeah. And now.
Wow.
What a cool story. What a cool story.
That is even cooler than if you found it in the garage, behind a load of boxes that had been that had been kept within the family and then forgotten about and found, because that's been out and it's had the life that it was intended when it was made, and now it's coming home. That is absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. I can't imagine Jason, I cannot imagine if somebody found something that my father had made or my grandfather had made on eBay, and then they sent that back to me, how much that would friggin' mean to me. That is just amazing. That's awesome. And you know what? I have seen this piece, Richard, because Jason and I were talking yesterday, I believe, and Jason showed me a picture of the piece, and it is an amazing piece of work. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's just so cool.
That is cool.
That's really cool. Have you put that on Instagram or socials or anything like that at all?
Not yet.
But I mean,
you should
I don't want to ask you to share it if it's not something you want to share. But if it's something that you were going to, then I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, I'll be sharing it on my Instagram, and then I'll share it on my Facebook page.
That's just a cool story. Awesome.
Magic. That's such a nice way to wrap up the show as well. That's full circle. Look forward, look back. Love
Then let's do it.
Brilliant. Well, as I said, I think that just about wraps up this week's show. We hope you had a fantastic Christmas. We hope you have a fantastic New Year. I hope I've just got the timings right. So you all take care, and we will see you back here next year for 2018 show. So take care.
Awesome. Have a great New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. See you next year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.